12 hours. That's kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's a flight. I was hoping it would be less than 8.
There we go. So is that Pete in that car behind us?
No, that's my car.
That's your car?
Keith.
Oh, it's Keith? Tell him to turn the lights off.
Rob, you tell him to kill lights.
Tell him to kill the lights.
Do you have a bunch of ammo with you? You want to
And you let Rob know he's in the shot, and it's totally fine, but
Actually, if I had known, I would
Garrison,
have said whatever I was going to shoot.
are you getting ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Focusing.
Focusing? Okay.
Get some dryness.
Focusing on the dry.
My tip
Or I
back.
work at a gun store. I can bring it for you.
Oh, perfect. No, I got to figure out what kind of. I need to ask.
All right, dude. So sorry to interrupt, but we're live is the only reason I'm busting in on you. Rick, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How's it going, Mr. Hartman?
It's going pretty well. What's new with you?
Nothing, we're at a 3-gun nation match, so as per usual, it needs to be wet.
So my socks are wet, is what that means.
Yeah, my entire body is wet because it's a match involving Charles Soule. Don't believe what people tell you, Dave. It's not your fault.
It's not my fault, man.
This has been going on since like 2012.
Here's what it is, Rick. It's perception is reality, right? So we need to set the record straight because Charles is like, oh my goodness, I got another scapegoat here.
Well, he's got quite
I
a
can
smear
get out of this.
campaign going.
He does.
That's what it is.
And it's working.
It is.
Because there's
Because he has great reach.
There's a lot of new people in the sport.
Yep.
They don't know what happened. So let's set the stage here. But before we do, let's take a little sip of Grimm Brothers Brew House beer they provided to us so nicely for us for the shoot off here. There's an entire cooler. The cooler actually is Vortex Optics
Vortex
cooler.
Yeti, baby.
Vortex Yeti, full of ice
It's like
and
the
beer.
two best things you can have, right? Vortex
Exactly.
and Yeti.
And beer.
And beer.
And we're having a nice beer, and we're gonna have a chat about the shoot off here.
We got quite the view, too.
We do have quite the view.
Yeah.
So
Feels like a VIP.
yeah,
It's pretty excellent.
we're actually under cover here, which is great. Cover provided by Hayes Custom Guns.
I only agreed to do this because I would be dry underneath the cover.
Keith flashing his lights. Thanks, Keith. So, a couple years ago, you and I did a podcast with Keith and Corinne Mosier.
Yeah,
At,
back what was it, like Nationals in
2015 Nationals,
Yeah.
right? And
With the elk.
That one, yeah, with the elk. That one was dry. But if you remember, Keith said it takes a village to get Kalani to shoot.
It
You remember
does.
that?
It does.
So it actually turns out takes a village to get the 3-gun show going. Thank you, sir. As Ruben's just handing me my phone that I dropped here. But so we've got a cooler provided by Yeti, beer provided by Grimm Brothers Brew House. We have power provided by Nick Miller, which
Is he on a treadmill
Adam,
or a
did
bike?
you remember
or
to turn that
how does this-
generator on?
No, that wasn't on my list.
I forgot to ask you. I'm sorry, man.
We're going to be good for like 45 minutes.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
Nothing.
So we have power provided by Nick Miller. We've got God, who else do I need? The awning, Hayes Custom Guns. Really, just so many great people contributed to this. So thank you everybody for helping out and for providing entertainment for the audience here.
I feel like the only thing you're missing is a electric heater sponsor.
Oh man, it would be
Then
nice,
you'd be
wouldn't it?
set. I mean, then that would be all your bases would be covered.
I'm going to go with a completely encapsulated booth.
Well, we could just steal the Timney trailer.
We should. In fact, we could.
He's not using it right now.
We could have just had my trailer out here because I've got a picture window in the back. We'd have the
That'd be pretty
dog.
romantic.
It would.
Yeah.
We got it.
I'm not
I have
complaining.
Snacks. I have snacks, beer, a refrigerator.
Yeah.
It's delightful.
That'd be pretty excellent.
Yeah. So Rick, before I cut you off, you were helping me get rid of
Clear
this
your name.
perception that I am the cause of the rain.
Oh, sorry about that. Somebody was yelling at us. Yeah. So, Dave, when did you start shooting 3-guns nationally?
Oh, nationally, 16 season.
Okay, so that's perfect because this has been going on long before then. So, in order for the assertions to be correct, it wouldn't have been going on prior.
Right.
But we've been wet for a very long time at three gun matches,
Three Gun Nation
especially
matches.
three gun nation matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? No, it's not.
One of the first ever three gun nation Pro Series matches down in Florida had a near tornado
Oh, really?
in 2011, 2012. So this has been going on for a while. Yeah.
And, oh, wow. Shooting's going
Wow,
here.
I didn't see a shooter's meter or anything.
I didn't either. We got Bob Nash going up here, though. And
Good measured cadence on the pistol.
Rick, you hold that thought, big fella. I'm going to go grab my eyes.
You got another pair clear?
No, actually, we can't see.
Yeah, just a little bit.
My bad.
You're good. It's early.
Keep going, buddy.
Hey, Rob, steal Kalani's clear for me, will you?
And we're back.
Oh, hey, we got
Bob
Eckhart.
Nash,
We got Eckhart here.
24-49.
We got Eric Eckhart here. I didn't know that he was in town for this.
Yeah, yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah,
It's
so
always good to see the Adams team out here.
I'm pretty excited for Eric to shoot here. Really good shooter.
He's an excellent dude. I really
What?
like Eric.
Is this his first Pro Series, or
Well,
he shot the old Pro Series, right?
no, he actually qualified for it, but it changed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So he was in that class with Coop and Molina. That they were the last ones to qualify in the old format.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't get a chance to shoot
Right.
the old format other than the qual
It's
match.
kind of a bummer though when you do the qualifying match in
Yeah.
one format and then
At
it
least they got
switches
to
up.
have fun once.
Yeah, that's true.
It's better than not.
Switches up on you. It's a little shame.
So yeah, Eric, he's been busy with work.
Yep.
He's been deployed quite a few times, so that obviously cuts into your range time.
Yeah. And I believe he's either retired or taking a step back at this time. So now he's
on. Yeah, he's either out or he's right at the edge of
Yeah.
being out. So
and we got to get Eric to come over here and talk to us too when he's done shooting,
For sure.
because he shot the Gas Gun National opener.
oh yeah,
and
the PRS match.
actually did like super well, because that is like right up his alley in shooting. So
Yeah, he's an excellent shooter when it comes to the long range rifle.
Yeah.
He's a sniper and a sniper instructor, so he has quite a bit of experience in that world.
I'm told he moves like a gazelle too, but I've actually never been able to shoot on a squad with him.
I'd compare it more to a linebacker because I'm pretty sure that's what he was.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah,
He's kind of
he's
a
a
small
Nebraska
linebacker,
boy.
isn't he?
He's a Nebraska boy, so he's corn fed.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You gonna join us here, Heather?
I'm gonna get pictures of a man.
Okay.
Root for him.
We're yelling from here.
The way I do that, kid.
I do like that.
It's about Casco.
Uh-huh.
That's good marketing.
I got a tattoo that says the same thing.
All right, then. So, Rick, you've shot this a lot, this shoot-off type of shooting gallery type of thing. What's going through your head when you're making ready here? Do you notice the cameras? Do you notice the people standing over your shoulders? Are you aware that your competitors are watching you?
I mean, that aspect of it is really no different than any other match.
Hello, mates.
What's up, buddy?
Mr. Betsworth,
You're in the spot I wish I was in.
under the canopy.
Drinking a beer.
Oh. But yeah, you don't really notice it after a while. You shoot enough of the pro matches, and
Is that
you
generator
get
going?
used to
Is that generator
we having
going?
problems.
Yeah, the camera's not charging.
Oh no!
Camera's not charging, and it's got the cord in it and everything.
Is
Sorry,
that
Rick.
power switch flicked on?
Oh, that would.
Wait, now they're back. Are they charging?
Yeah, now it is.
Perfect.
That's what it was. Damn, Rick.
Gotta have an
Engineers.
engineer, man. Step one, when
And
you deal
we're
with
back.
electronics and or, anything that you're gonna have to plug in or
Grab an engineer.
make sure it's plugged in.
And we're back. Three-gun show at Three Gun Nation Nationals. That was a bad break. Hopefully we can figure that part out. Camera's moving too. God, this is a clusterfuck.
Come on,
And
Dave.
we're
The
live.
camera's rolling.
I tell you what, Rick, I tried to shoot a match today. The match didn't go so hot, I'll be honest, man. I'm
I
shooting
feel you.
PCC.
Yeah. Why are you shooting PCC?
I'm shooting.
Oh, we got a buzzer test. That means
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Eckhart is about to go.
Mr. Eckhart is about to go here, so we'll
Let's
come back
see
to
the
that
gazelle.
one.
He moves.
Yeah, he moves pretty good. He's got his football cleats on too. Man, 1 for 1 on
Excellent
that pistol
cadence
steal.
with the
Yeah,
pistol.
good.
Yeah.
Picking up the rifle here. Now he's shooting a lot of low shots.
Most guys, when you miss on the plate rack, you end up missing low.
Right. Nice cadence on the shotgun too. 23.62, so beats out Bob.
Yeah, a little bit of time there on the plate rack, but
Yeah.
that's to be expected, especially when you're in these kind of elements.
Yeah, and he's actually shooting Adam's Arms piston gun as well, so a
Yep.
little bit more recoil. Now, does
No, you don't really perceive it.
No?
No, because I
Okay.
actually was fortunate enough to be on his team a few years back, and I was running that gun as well. And it's not it's not anything that you would classify as disruptive.
Good to know.
It feels a little different, but not. I mean,
Right.
once you shoot it a few times, it's not as bad as people would think.
So solid run for the evening.
Yeah, I mean,
Only been-
considering the elements, I think
Considering the
that's-
elements, I've been wondering if the wetness is going to play a factor into this. If we're going to see some dudes slipping and sliding all over the place. Our buddy Jacob Betzworth over here, he's got his speed cross on, and man, that guy loves to just put all his weight behind his movement and everything. So
Well,
it'll
I
be
mean, yeah, I
interesting to
got
see.
pretty terrified at Nationals last year. I felt like he was going to go over one of the tables. I wasn't
Take a
sure.
digger.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have photos of that somewhere of
Yeah.
him doing a modified cartwheel
Yeah, pretty much.
over a stop button.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't have his trash bag on tonight. His signature.
he's not looking
Trash
as
bag.
classy as
Not
usual.
So Rick, yes, I am shooting PCC. I'm shooting PCC Unlimited.
Tell me more.
I am. I'm on my second gun now.
Already.
Already, yeah. So the first one, yeah. So the first one I borrowed a PCC from a guy, and it was a home build, and I tested it for like a whole day, and did a bunch of different training, transitions, stuff like
That's
that.
pretty solid due diligence.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
that's-
it was
What
my
more
first-
can you do?
My first time ever shooting a PCC, I wanted to make sure it played with all the ammo that I have.
Right.
Because I have, various forms of ammo from all over the place. And it worked, right? So we're like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
Shooting out to 100 yards, no big deal. And
That's a big feat for that kind of gun.
yeah, for a 9mm. Yeah, exactly. So we did just fine on that, and then ended up with bringing it to the match, getting ready to shoot the match, no problem. And very first stage, just mouth after mouth. Saw a triple feed.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a new one.
yeah. I didn't know that was possible, and so tried that on the second stage. Still had a big problem with it, and got a second gun. Worked fine for, thank you, sir. Worked fine for one stage. Went down on the second stage, but at that time it had started raining again, had started raining, and I think a problem was like maybe lack of lubrication, because we did a test after the stages, lubed it up, tested,
Is it back to normal?
back to normal again and again and again. So I'm
So you think you got it fixed, or?
I don't
it's
know,
hard to
man. It's
tell.
hard to tell. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. I'm not real sold on PCC yet. It's fun, but shooting 22s out of a rifle is fun too.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it as a change of pace for a lot of guys. It's not necessarily the change of pace I would make,
Yeah.
but
I'll tell you what's been interesting though is the stage planning.
Oh yeah, I mean it opens a lot of doors.
Well, now my personal goal is to try not to use my pistol. Can I do this without using my pistol?
Yeah.
You know, and most of the time you can do it without using your shotgun. Like, oh, they put 4 clays here, so I have 4 shotgun
Yeah.
targets.
Yeah.
Kind of silly.
They want you to get at least 2 guns out of the match.
Yeah, out of a 3-gun match.
You know,
Yeah, and I guess
unless you can get your gun to start, shooting a rat shot.
right.
You know that at some of
yeah.
the plays.
Yeah, we were talking about
Go single
going
action
down to
on
the
it.
Walmart on
Yeah.
that. So the second part of that is now I'm not going to be able to shoot any of the long range targets. And I was looking at the long range stages during walkthrough, and it looks like
They look pretty decent.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, some actual distance. Unlike, and there's multiple stages. I think there's 2 stages at least that have
Yep.
250 plus. So yeah, that should be
and
fun.
out to like 400 or something like that.
Yeah,
I
I think they
didn't
got a
bother.
bonus at 420.
Is that right?
425. Yeah,
Nice.
it's an 8-inch circle at 425 or 420.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we got Garrison England coming up on the stage here. He's going to be doing his little run.
Oh, I didn't realize it was videoing.
And Garrison's off to the pistol here.
Couple misses on the pistol, left the door open a little bit, but not terrible.
Looks like he left did he leave a rag on his scope?
Yeah, he left
Interesting.
a rag on his optic so it wouldn't get wet.
And so we ripped that off, but I think that actually cost him a little bit of time in that transition. Another decent shotgun run, and 25-29
Oh,
for
he took the
Garrison.
button with him.
And took the button with him. Yeah, knocked the button off the table tonight.
So the big thing about a stage like this is that, in my opinion, you're going to see guys slowing down in 2 different spots. The footwork the footwork, the start of the stop, and then the actual gun transitions. The shooting isn't necessarily much different.
Right.
You don't really notice the rain when it's. I mean, obviously, if it's coming at your face, you're
Right.
gonna notice it. But for the most part, like with your handgun and with your shotgun, the rain is just there, and you're just dealing with it. But the footwork and the gun manipulations is really what makes it more difficult.
Yeah. So what is I was about to ask, like, what is more important, but I mean, if you just fall right when you're coming into
Well,
a
that's
box,
the thing.
it
There's
doesn't even
neither of
matter.
them are more important, right?
Yeah.
If you fall when you come in, you're done. If you drop it when you come in, you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to the point where you have to know how far you can push on that dial.
Right.
Do I need to go 95? Do I need to go 85? I mean,
So I think last night we saw like a 20:49 or 21:49, something like that, and we're a good like 3 to 4 seconds off that pace.
yeah, and I
already.
would have expected it to be somewhere in the 3 to 5 second range
Yeah.
slower. Just from the wetness on the ground.
Right. And
You
no,
know,
I got
nobody's going to be going 100% with their feet because
Yeah.
if you lose it, you're done.
Right, and I gotta say, like, that's just for comparison's sake, because they're not actually being scored or competing against the guys that shot last night. It's all in this match, so
Right.
the conditions for all 6 dudes that are shooting tonight are all the same.
Exactly. And that's why they're able to do a plate rack this time instead of last month they did a set of poppers.
Right.
Because
right.
we're not comparing match to match. We're only
Right.
comparing at the match.
Right, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a function of how much space they have at each facility.
Yeah, I would imagine like space. There's probably resources with targetry available.
Well, yeah,
stuff
how many
like
plate
that.
racks do they own and things like that. So.
Because it's easy to bring these.
Yeah, poppers and stands are easy, but you start lugging around
the 10x10s. Yeah,
$400 or 400-pound plate racks, and
that kills the fuel economy a little bit.
yeah.
I can't even see who's setting up here.
I mean,
Is
it's
this Lance?
just like nationals. It may be. He's got 5'11" on his
Yeah.
pants.
It's the only thing I can figure.
And we should be going in reverse order, so this should
Right.
be the third from the top.
Third from the top.
So
Okay.
Jacob would have been close to the top, and then someone else as well.
Yeah. Now, if it was Jacob, it would be easy because he's a mountain of a man.
And he'd be wearing a garbage bag. the hefty man.
With the sleeves cut off.
Yeah, so classy. Felt like I was back in Detroit when I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. Detroit.
Yeah. It's a perfect way to put it.
And I think I told you about the first time I went to Detroit, right? When,
Yeah, didn't you almost commit like an international crime into...
Yeah.
There's only one way into the tunnel.
I was not driving, and I was vehemently shouting to turn around.
Once you're in that tunnel, there's no turning around, baby.
Yeah, so I was actually, I beg to differ because we did
In the tunnel.
in the tunnel.
Pretty sure that's illegal.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's a highway, right? And
Yeah.
and we see a. Let's set the story for the.
Yeah, do our viewers know about this?
I don't know if. I was still working at the place at the time, so I didn't really want
It
to
was
talk
off
about
script.
it. Yeah,
it was off
you
air.
And you and I just talked
Yeah.
about that afterwards. So, it is Lance that's up right here, and so we can table that for a minute. And
Yeah.
then I'll finish
Let's
the story.
focus
but
on Lance here.
Lance is up.
The first member of Team Benelli.
Heck yeah. And Lance is an athletic dude, so this will be interesting to see.
Looks like
how
he's got the
he
spike
rolls.
crosses on.
Yep. Pretty good pickup on that pistol. Little time setting up. Couple extra
About
pickup
4,
shots here.
5, 6. That's going to hurt.
Yep.
So he's already at halfway on the time.
But Lance is a rifleman here, so we'll see if he can make it up.
Well, Lance is a hunter and
Yeah.
an excellent precision rifle shooter, but it's
Yeah.
a little different when it starts running offhand.
Exactly. Oh, and he
missed.
Missed the timer. Holy shit! That cost him like 3.5
It doesn't
seconds.
matter.
No?
Why would it matter? He's already in the bottom.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All it would impact is the order.
Yeah, and then if the people behind him mess up, but I guess not. So, wow,
But he's already guaranteed to be in the eliminator, regardless.
okay,
Because the
'cause
top, he's not second.
So what is it, the bottom three?
4.
Bottom 4. Oh,
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay, so he's guaranteed.
So
to
whether he was 29 or 26
I gotcha.
or 31, it really didn't matter, other than order.
All right, so my knock it off. Keith Garcia is behind us in his Jeep Grand Cherokee and flashing the lights at the camera. And so I gave him a single finger wave.
That's what I saw.
Keeping up foreign relations.
Yeah. Were you inverted?
So to tell the story, so I worked for a large defense contractor, and we were in Detroit to meet with a bunch of contractors that were going to build this thing for us. A thing
Yeah, because Detroit is a large hub for people who don't know for
Very
the
big.
defense industry as
Yes.
well as the auto industry because
Yes.
there's a lot of manufacturing locally.
tons of manufacturing, machining. They do a ton of great work with welded steel structures and stuff like that. And we needed a large thing to hold another large important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to a bunch of different places and shopped it around. But the first day we got there, we're not visiting these companies until the next day. So wanted to kind of look around. So we go to like
See the sights of Detroit,
see
baby,
the sites. Go downtown Detroit. Downtown Detroit. Like
without your wallet.
Old Tiger Stadium. No, we're idiots, man. We're like walking around in golf shirts and khakis, like, and I worked with a bunch of engineers, so like they were like rob me engineers. Yeah. So we're sitting there and we're doing our thing. We had found like this great barbecue joint that it was really cool.
Slows.
Yeah, it was Slows.
Legendary.
Is that the only barbecue joint?
It's legendary.
Dude,
They've got like 90 sauces you can put on your
I tried
pulled pork.
38 of them, I
Yeah.
think. Oh, it was ridiculous. And that place was ridiculous barbecue. I was super surprised for Detroit. And thank you for saying the name because I forgot it.
It's right next to the old train station.
It is.
The one that they actually filmed a lot of the Transformer movies in.
It looks like hell there.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it actually is. But then you walk into Slows and it's like this nice joint that is nice and trendy and everything. It's a pretty cool place. So then we go walk down to the waterfront and look at Windsor, and that's when I realized, like, wow, look at Windsor. There's all those cars and like traffic lights and people, and I can see people, and I'm like looking across this body of water and seeing Canada.
Because it's only like 300 yards.
Yeah, and from a guy from a landlocked state, that's kind of significant,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
So I was looking at that, and I'm like, holy crap, I can see Canada from here. And then I stopped and I turned around, I looked around, and I was like, wow, there is nothing going on here. And then I just kind of got this little chill. There's nothing going on in Detroit. There was no people. There was no cars. And then I realized all these buildings are abandoned, and they're like skyscrapers.
Yep.
And it was like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
There was nothing going on in Detroit.
A lot of the people in Detroit are just working in Detroit.
Yeah, well, and
A lot of people living in Detroit.
and the particular area that we were in, like even the skyscrapers that like used to house like a bank or something like that,
Yep.
soap over the windows.
Yeah.
Soap over the windows in the skyscraper. So weird. But so anyhow, to what we were talking about earlier, once we were, done sightseeing and everything, we're in the car. I'm in the back. This dork is driving.
The engineer.
And we've got all these prints in the car, right? We've
Classified, I'm sure, to some extent.
ITAR.
Oh, exactly.
So it's sensitive, it's proprietary,
Yeah.
and international trafficking arms regulations.
I believe that's what it
Yeah,
is.
I believe that's what ITAR stands for. So we've got all that.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, "Oh, I wonder where this goes." And I'm like, "Dude, that goes to Canada. The sign clearly says it goes to Canada.
Tunnel to Canada.
There's a tunnel that goes under the water to Canada." And he's like, "Oh, we go here." And like everyone just starts yelling at him, "Turn around. We're not going to Canada."
And for those who have not been on this road in this tunnel, it is one way.
It absolutely is, and it's like 3 lanes one way.
Yeah.
And so he literally just stops in the middle of the road in front of the TSA, and then he flips a U-turn, and then eventually
Like a boss.
on the wrong way, and eventually at some point we got over to the other side, and I was livid at that guy.
Yeah.
I was so upset because I don't have a passport. None of us had even the guys that did have a passport didn't
weren't
have them
with
at
you.
the time.
Yeah.
We have like all this stuff that we're not supposed.
You can't talk your way out of an ITAR problem.
Yeah. Well, and everyone's gonna get fired, right? And at that time it mattered. So
Yeah. Here's
all right.
Big Diesel.
Big Diesel, Jacob Betzworth is up here. He's smiling like usual. He's all excited. He's giving Rob a heck of a time.
Now I'm a little worried because Lance just about tore that buzzer off, so Jacob could do some serious damage.
Yeah. Jacob could
This night
very
could end
seriously take
for all
out
of us
the
if the
timer.
equipment goes down.
Yep. There he goes.
So watching his feet, that's going to be the most important thing.
Yep. Gingerly into the shooting position. Had it like a jam or
Looked
something?
like he
there?
had a malfunction on the
Yep.
handgun.
Picking up the rifle.
Making up time.
2 extra shots.
enough,
Not too bad. Smoking it on the shotgun.
Very deliberate on the
Yeah.
shotgun.
Oh, over in 27-47. Yeah, that was deliberate on the
Yeah.
shotgun.
Which is odd in a format like this, especially with Clay's.
Well, he had 1 makeup shot, so I think he ended up slowing down on that just to try to keep his cadence or his hits there. Well, they laid a little practical, so you've got 9 in the gun, right?
Yeah.
And then
I think that's an 8-shot array.
8 shot array. Yep.
I know with the shoot-off it was 7, but I think this one they got
Yeah.
8. They do it a little different each time.
I really like the one in 2015 where they had like the 12 shot array.
Yeah, the mandatory load.
Mandatory
when
quad
you,
load.
When you got to the table or partially through the array, which was the wrong choice.
Unless you're shooting a Browning, right? And then does that become the
Yes.
right choice?
Well, in my opinion, no. Because you still have to dismount one
Right.
extra time. Mm-hmm. If you do it at the beginning, you haven't even mounted yet. So
Right, and then you're just plussing
mean-
up. And people say you're fighting the spring, but
yeah, but if you got to fight the spring that hard, then you haven't practiced very much. Because you got to do that when you loaded a full in a match. It's no different.
all right. So your teammate at the time, Greg Jordan, was doing that, and so that's the wrong move.
Yeah, if it was me, I would have run it with the plussing up at the start.
Right.
I mean, I know they were utilizing the benefit of the A5, but again, I want to mount and dismount as few times as possible.
Right.
It's a lot like
It's wasted movement.
it's a lot like target transitions and when you choose where and when to post up.
Right.
Usually you don't want to, but when you have to, you want to limit the number of times as low as possible.
And try to shoot everything on the move.
Yeah, especially these type of stages. But yeah, I feel like it's better to do it at the start.
Right. That makes sense. I thought the same thing too, but the prevailing wisdom at the time was that the A5 is going to load better.
Well, what did Dan do?
That's true. Well, Dan wasn't shooting an A5.
No,
So
but,
first off,
but it doesn't matter which gun you're shooting.
Right.
You load at the start regardless.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
Oh, dang it. Always fall for that.
you won't. The next time they do it, you stab them.
Throw a beer can at him.
Yeah. Street justice.
So who do we have shooting now?
I don't know.
Can't
We had
hardly
Big
tell.
Diesel. Who else would have
Is it
been in
Hunter
this
Sykes?
match? It is. It's Hunter. It is Hunter Sykes.
Tell by his shoes. I remember from Nationals.
No, I talked to him earlier. I just forgot he was in this one. Yeah, because he was in the final 8
Yep.
because it's reverse order. So we got to pick our own match. I don't know if you knew that
okay.
or not.
So I think we discussed that a little bit last night, and then it sounds like the Northern guys picked the Northern match, and
Yeah, I just picked something a little later in the year, and it happened
Okay.
to be that one.
no, why did you do that?
Because with being up in Michigan, you never know when the snow's going to not be around anymore.
Right.
So, that's something I'm fighting with this match is I really don't have as much practice time in as I really would want.
Mm-hmm.
The temperature and everything up there kind of puts a damper on things. You try to power through it. You can usually deal with it when it's 20 or 30, but when it's 5 and 10 degrees out, it gets to be kind of a pain. So.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm not really a big fan of inclement weather.
Oh, we got a steal down.
Yeah, pistol steel. I have in the past done like some practice sessions in the wintertime, and it's been great. But there is a point where it's diminishing return. Like
Yeah, it
we're
depends
just
on
out
what you're
here
doing
shaking.
too, right? I mean, if you're out there in the cold, anything below like 30, you really don't add any value by doing any quad loading
Right.
because you can't really feel your hands.
Yeah.
And when you do, you got to put gloves back on, and then you got to wait for them to warm up, and then
Yeah.
it makes everything a little bit tougher. The other thing is footwork. You can't do a lot of footwork drills if there's snow and ice.
Yep,
You don't
yep.
want to, roll an ankle, break a leg, getting ready for the season. So
So
it's a
when-
fine line.
When you go to the match,